The following program is a collection of dudes talking about the happenings in the CrossFit world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions, especially those of JY, do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of others on the show. If you take things out of context, please reconsider watching. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to the spin. October 30th. We have no idea where John is. He's MIA.
Here we are.
So
I want to reiterate that is one of my favorite commercials that exists in CrossFit.
it's a good one. It's a good one.
Very good.
Welcome everybody. ESC Sounds. Harry from ESC. Welcome. Clooney's obviously doesn't realize that we start late every week, but hey, start gathering at 6:30 and we'll show up eventually. 100% thought he was looking for his Ovaltine, but
he's lost in the sauce trying to get the Ovaltine.
First I thought I didn't send him the link, but I did, so I don't know. Zane biased. He only likes it because of that hot chick Gracie.
That's just because they ain't got Zane in there yet. They would have they had to take him out. It was too much. They're like,
did you see Zane with his shoulder?
Yeah.
Little scar.
What was that? Do you know?
I can't remember exactly, but yeah, it went under the knife. I guess they make big old scars out there in Australia, but yeah, hopefully he gets better soon and see him back out
better,
there.
Zane.
But
we got to see you in Miami.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to go through a show with Masters for Health. So if you were watching Pedro's show, CTP definitely answered it very well. We'll see if we can't expound upon that. Zane will be back. And I think I might open the call. The call are open and phone line.
Call line?
Yeah, we'll do that. And then we'll talk about Will Moorad and what he's doing with this World Fitness Project. I have no idea. Blind rankings, and then Sanction This. So John is coming. He's going to be here soon.
Yeah.
His alarm didn't go off. Okay. Anyway, I don't know what that means. He obviously slept through.
100% napping.
Yeah. So John will be on his way here soon. While he does that, we'll go into some viewer comments. If you didn't realize, Tyler, big news. Everybody is expecting. So
yeah. You're not.
I am not. No.
Johnny Boy and I now we've known we're finishing out the first trimester. We just sort of told our friends, and then Jeanette pulled the trigger on me. I didn't know we were telling everybody, and she made that post. Of course, we were in the middle of moving, and it's our first year anniversary of being married. And she was like, "You want to collaborate on this post?" And I was like moving stuff, and I was like, "Yes, happy anniversary, yes, whatever." And then I looked down, and I was like, "Oh, so I guess we're telling everybody." It's weird when I've met Kelsey Keel, but when Kelsey Keel likes that, it's just weird. It's like it usually goes the other way. I like Kelsey Keel's post. It was just strange for me. So
very cool. Yeah. And then Kelsey Keel's other best friend, Kelly Baker, Shirley,
also pregnant.
So I guess taking the season off worked.
Yep.
So good for her.
Who would have guessed?
All right. Viewer comments. Again, this is your reminder. If you're not subscribed, go do that. And then leave a comment. You guys did very well this last week. We had 65 comments. Not too bad. At Human View, listening to horizontal pegboard 20 times on my way to work made me think it should be a diabolical burn. I'd hate to be called that. Just call somebody a horizontal pegboard.
You're a freaking horizontal pegboard. Did you see Hopper struggling with them?
So I've seen several people on the pegboard, not even just Hopper, and yeah, I've seen more videos from others as well, not public, and I hope they get better. I hope they all get better, because
They'll all get better.
If they don't, it's going to be a little bit of a snooze fest for that time as they're on the board, as they're swinging around trying to go across. I guarantee somebody will figure out how to do it faster, and it'll just be, I mean, leave everybody behind. It won't matter.
Yeah, blow everybody out of the water.
Right. Francis Bailey, I'd 100% tune in live to watch the strong women go. So
there you go.
Stay tuned. Rogue Invitational. Emmy Monroe. Laura will absolutely smash the horizontal pegboard.
Yep.
Highly anticipating seeing the dynamic between her and Gabby at Rogue.
Let's do it.
Let's do what?
John Young, everybody. Welcome to the show.
Coming in prepped.
I can't get like my eye will come back. It's coming.
Were you sick again?
No, I'm not sick.
Are you sure? Yeah, I'll get you a drink there. There you go. He's coming to life, folks.
I took a caffeine pill. I'm gonna get so juiced up in like 30 minutes. Okay.
This is what happened when Party John comes out. He's recovering. This is Party John in recovery here.
No, I had a very hard 2 a day today. I got in 2 sessions like in 3 hours, and I was out. I died a little bit, but I'm here. I'm ready. Let's go.
Good.
What are we talking about?
Right now we're on viewer comments.
All right.
By
the way, I woke up to spin. You obviously. I'm like, gosh, and then my mom would like, "Where are you?" I like almost got a call.
Thank you, Mrs. Young.
Yeah.
Bija Ventures. I don't know. Tyler explaining why Danielle Brandon is an elite pick on blind rankings is incredible. Tyler incites chaos, and I'm here for it. But Tyler is the one that Bija Ventures wants to party with.
There you go. You just stick close to me, and I'll make the chaos so we can just sit back and watch.
There you go.
I'm not kidding.
You're the wrong bald guy for chaos with Danielle Brandon. I'm gonna tell you all that right now. I don't know if that's public information.
It's out there. I mean, Taylor.
A little out there.
It's wild. I don't know. It's yeah. Go check out Taylor's stories.
Yeah.
I don't know what all is going on, but they're definitely spending their afternoon texting back and forth with each other, which is fun. Aaron
They're
Cloud,
best friends.
By the end of it, I'm sure they will be.
I guarantee it.
Aaron Cloud. Well, Gabby is at CrossFit Krypton. Is Laura still training with Ben? Do you know, Tyler?
I've heard rumors.
John? You hear things.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
Is Laura still training with Ben?
I don't think so. I don't know.
What do you know, Spin?
I don't know.
I know things.
Laura doesn't. Listen, I'm just to surprise y'all. Laura doesn't keep me in the tab on her whereabouts.
That's weird.
Do you know things, or are you just being Mr. Hype Media here?
No, he's an easy guy to talk to.
I know things.
Big gotcha media.
I have been told that they're still in contact. They're still talking.
I wouldn't be surprised. Ben's like a level-headed, cool dude. He could probably, if both of them want to come train at his place, he could work it out.
I don't know if they'll be training at the same place, but I know they're at least
under his tutelage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Laura ever just followed Ben's direction completely. I feel like she was like, I'm still the captain. Thanks for some programming.
She was using him as like an assistant to the head coach.
Yes.
Yeah. Offensive coordinator.
I still make the calls on whether I'm going to do some strict deficit handstand push-ups today or not.
Right.
But thank you for your input. I'm gonna go do some heavy clean and jerks.
I wonder if Gabby had been talked about it beforehand, and like Gabby's like, I don't care.
That
I
is, I
wouldn't
do
care.
not know.
I wouldn't care either, but I mean, some would.
Wait, really? If
Yeah,
if Laura and Christoph treated Gabby like the way that it feels like we've heard or we sense, would you want them to be like, because you go to Rogue and Ben's there, or you go to the games, or maybe the World Fitness Project down the road, and all three of you are there, and Ben's having to talk to both of you. Do you want that?
No, but first off, we think we know one side of the story. It's probably not like as bad as we think, and they have a reason. Gabby has a reason. You know what I mean? It's not like we think we know one side of the story, meaning there's other stuff we don't know. It might not be as bad as terms as we think. Secondly, you've already said it. Ben is not like a freaking Ben Bergeron where he's throwing sand on her doing push-ups. You know what I mean? I do not think the relationship that Laura and Ben have are something that Bergeron and Katrin had, right? So if Ben is Gabby's coach or with Gabby or whatever, and he's like, listen, if we go to events, I'm on your team, but like I'm gonna help her if she needs me. But if we go to events, like, it's you and me against the world, right? Mainly Hungary, but you know what I'm saying. And I think Gabby would agree to that. Yeah, I would be fine with that.
I guess I want the drama.
I'm here for the drama. I would rather that drama than Taylor and Danielle Brandon, but it's
No, I like both.
It's a low news day. I mean, you see what we're talking about today? It's a low.
I think we got plenty of news today.
I think
Today felt
you'll
crazy.
like this, John. We're not talking about affiliate stuff or PFAA yet, so I think it'll be good.
Okay, we'll see.
So we'll get into it. Masters for Health. Our boy Sean Ramirez.
Our boy.
Yeah.
So
second time
to go over, because I skimmed that one. I've been kind of burning the candle at both ends here this week. He tested positive for what substance?
DF something. The first time, and he tested for the GW 501516.
And
Classic, good entry level.
Yeah, and then
the gateway drug, as they like.
The gateway drug.
Yeah.
The gateway SARM, if you will.
It actually probably is. GW 501516 is actually not a SARM.
Dihydroxy LGD 4033.
That's LGD.
That's just a vitamin.
Ligandrol.
So yeah, he tested for
all.
that.
I don't like that.
And so he was the first last week to fall, and then obviously Jonathan Adele tested positive for everything. Adele's coach, or somebody that was affiliated in some way, Mr. Thunderbro himself, Dave Lipson, weighed in after the fact and asked the question on Instagram: should Masters athletes be allowed to use TRT or HRT for health purposes and still compete? And so that is my question. Should a Masters athlete, or I guess technically anybody, but I think the focus is really on the Masters athletes, should they be allowed to use some type of HRT or TRT, get an exemption, a therapeutic use exemption for that to get their levels back to normal?
This is an interesting question because I think there are a ton of Masters guys on TRT. I think there are a ton of guys at my gym on TRT that would fall in the masters category. I think it is a huge can of worms if you say you're allowed to medically get it. And if you say you're allowed, thank you, Curious. if you say that you are allowed,
was that accidental?
yeah, I'm not looking at. I didn't see the comments. To say that is pretty wild. If he just commented that,
It's kinda weird.
if you say that you can be medically cleared, a doctor can medically clear you for testosterone for TRT, then they're all on it. It's not medical to get your levels up. You walk into a clinic and you say, "Man, I just feel bad. I don't get hard anymore." And then they'll give you TRT. It doesn't matter what your levels are. You might just be reading high today. It doesn't matter. They will give it to you.
You can trick it too.
Tyler, we don't need to know about your steroid use.
Well, there was a bodybuilding guy at my gym, and he was on drugs, and he was open about being on drugs. And I asked him, I was asking him about it, and he was like, if you want to be on TRT, he was like, the night before, he was like, basically drink whiskey. He was like, you weren't sleep worth shit, and your testosterone levels in the morning will be in the garbage. He was like, and then they'll just give you the medical check mark.
Yep.
That's all you have to do. So everybody's not all right.
And like it's so. I mean, it's as easy as going to the GNC and getting Enduraball.
Is Enduraball at GNC? I don't think
it's at some. No, dude. So dude, this is wild. I didn't think that it was, but you remember Ricky said I thought it was mine because it was at the GNC.
Is that just in Australia?
No, so I was like, that can't be at GNC. Like, it can't be illegal and be at the GNC. And I remember in Illinois, it totally is. It's just there. It says GW 501, whatever it is. I don't have it memorized like you guys. But next to, stuff like Osterin or just other things that are like that. SARMs. I know it's not a SARM, but it falls in that the SARMs club, but it's not a SARM, blah, blah, blah. But it's right next to all those things. Okay. And I was like, that is wild. Like, people can do some stuff here. And then at Texas, it's nowhere. It's not. I have been in every GNC I go to. I see if it's here just because it's fun to see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not looking behind the glass. You look behind the glass or some other stuff, but it wasn't behind the glass in Illinois.
Front and center, huh?
Dude, anybody see it? And it was either, if you care to know the price, it was not expensive either. It was $70 a bottle, which I'm not sure if you would need 3 bottles to do whatever, take whatever, how much you need. But if you need 3 bottles, I guess it's kind of expensive. But it was $70 for a bottle, 70 or 80. In Texas, it is not here. So you should. Is it in Indiana?
I don't know. I don't go to GNC. I went into the GNC here one time and got caffeine, and that was about all I got. So
no, I don't make frequent trips to GNC either. But I had been 3 times in a year. You know what I mean?
Right. You just being there shopping around. Oh
yeah, look. Yeah. If
you're drop by,
yeah,
right next to GameStop.
Truly, it's just if it's there and if it's at a strip mall and your wife is doing something at a store she wants to do something at,
and that's
then,
when I always
say, I'm gonna go walk around. And I'm just going to walk around, or the mall. Sometimes it'll be at the mall. You know what I mean? That's the places I'm talking about. I don't see a GNC and stop there. Then now I'm totally buying it. I'm totally buying that stuff. But pull over. I have not found it at Texas.
But to your question, I don't understand, because he didn't pop for TRT.
So Adele tested positive. It had exogenous testosterone or something.
Jonathan.
Like that. Jonathan
Adele.
Yeah, every time you say that, man, it's just or Edel. It's hard. That's
so he tested positive for exogenous, which raises
plus other stuff. I mean, he was on a whole host of stuff. So I mean, Lipson's comment didn't really apply,
right? But there's a question to be asked here.
right.
No, it is a good question. It's funny it's coming from Lipson, but it is.
Well, he says he's only used HRT.
Yep, that's it.
I think Killer confirmed it, I think, in a video. If I
Um,
remember right. He was like, yeah. Makes sense.
This guy's natural.
Yeah.
But so
Yeah.
my answer to the question is no, just because it's too easy to get. If you let one person do it, even if somebody needs it, even if you actually need it and you have low testosterone, the second you let one person do it, everybody can and everybody will.
Right.
Like I promise you, there are half the guys at our gym are on TRT. The exact same thing that Tyler said. Like they just get it, and it makes them feel like Superman. And then they'll be like, "I got to do this to stay like you." No, you're not like me. First off, but second, no, you don't. And third, your testosterone's normal. You're just cheating the system, and because you can. And some people, it's covered by their insurance, so it's freaking like free.
Well,
That's what they're doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which
Yeah.
is wild.
What my stance is, and it's tough because if people are using it, like you have two ways to make it fair, right? You get rid of the people that are using it, which seems like it's almost impossible at this point. You can find them one at a time, or you allow everybody to have access to get to HRT to bring it up to whatever normal acceptable level is. You can't go above that, et cetera. And if you come and do a test and you're higher than you should be, then you pay that price. But
I have a solution.
okay.
I do not think you should say that you're allowed to take TRT if you need it. I think for the masters, just let them do whatever. Don't test them.
Just have a whole bunch of Jonathan
Fucking-
Adells
Yeah,
running around.
look, they're separate. They're separate.
Equipoise,
Absolutely.
all
You
of
see
it.
what that dude looked like? If we have 40
Androstenine.
Frankensteins walking around, absolutely. So, and plus, you're talking about specialists. We'll know who's on trend. We'll know who's on Enduraball. Like, they're not the same people. They do different things. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think it would be hilarious. But if the Masters is a separate category from the games now, right? They're their own thing. They're not even run by the same thing by CrossFit. They're their own thing.
Well, kinda.
CrossFit did nothing for them. Like I'm saying, they're trying to separate as hard as they can. Are they not?
Nothing.
Uh,
They're
no,
not
I think
separated.
CrossFit is outsourcing the management of the competition to someone.
Did they do the programming?
They did the program with Boz's input.
So no. Did they pay?
I think
CrossFit
they pay for the
helped
license.
subsidize some of it.
Yeah.
Did they do anything just then, Ryan?
CrossFit,
Yeah.
they promoted it on
Okay.
social media.
All right. We've seen how good
Promoted it.
we've seen how good they are at promoting stuff.
on.
Ryan. Okay.
That's fair. They promoted it as well as they promoted everything
If you
else.
honestly,
Good as anything else.
if it wasn't for the locker room, I don't know if CrossFit would still be around. I'm talking about promoting it. Get out of here. I think you either say no, everybody has to be clean, and then we're going to keep having masters people pop like crazy, and that's fine. That's what we're dealing with. That's what we're going to go on. Or it's an open range. You can do whatever you want. I would be fine with either or.
I want to flip it on you and say, like, what if they said no HR or no HRT, no, like we're not going to allow it. Then you got guys who just like, I know that I think Josh Bridges said one time like his testosterone levels were running at like 200, which is low. It's not dangerously low, but it's veering on low. Right. And then you get into like your 40, 45, and like you just feel like shit all the time. But you actually like you want to continue to compete. You want to do this, but like you're getting in the way of somebody's life and like their livelihood and how they feel on a daily basis. Yes, you choose to enter, but I just don't see the benefit in saying no, you can't take it. Now, that doesn't say that you can take all the other stuff, but like if they open the gates and say, yeah, you can have a TRT exemption, everybody, we know that it's a false game, that you can get whatever TRT like essentially doses you want. If you open that up to everybody, then you're good to go. Who cares?
So you're on the side of you should let them do whatever they want.
Not whatever they want, but
TRT.
HRT, any sort of HRT.
So first, Rudy Berger, Boz had input in the programming. That is my understanding. Listening to, I think it was Jason Grubb's podcast with Joe or Bob or one of them. They said that basically they did the programming. Joe and Bob made the programming, and then ran it past CrossFit. I'm assuming it's Bosman, not Castro. Maybe it was Castro, both. I don't know, but CrossFit at least had seen it and had the opportunity to weigh in. And I don't know how much they changed, but that was what it was.
Am I choppy?
No, not on my end. I can't get on board with just letting them do everything, just from a standpoint of, I don't think it eliminates those who don't want to do it. Right? Like an average or above average athlete who doesn't want to go jump on TRT has no chance. Like if you have a whole bunch, if you have 35, I don't know, Adele, I guess it'd be 40. If 40 guys in the world turn into Jonathan Adele's, you have no chance unless you are on TRT at that point.
I disagree. And the proof is with Ricky. Guys still beat him who weren't taking drugs, and he was on drugs, and he was already one of the most elite athletes in the world, and people still beat him.
Yeah.
Some people are fine. Like they don't. And also, yes, TRT, HRT will make you feel better as a whole across the board, and that's going to have long effects in your training. But like, Josh is better, way the hell better than I was, and my testosterone is 4x his.
I guess my thing is, and it goes with like anything you do, is you don't have the right to compete. Right? Competing is a privilege. So if you can't do it on your own and you want to go take it because you need it for your health,
then you
then
don't
take it for your health and then just don't
Yeah.
compete. Like you don't have to compete. The Masters competition is for pride. Like $10,000. Like Grubb said, it cost him $8,000 to go travel down to Birmingham. You know, or a lot of these people, if you're from overseas, probably more.
Y'all got
and you make your money back.
Travel $8,000.
I don't know. He may have just been exaggerating.
I went to South Carolina on like $20.
You're not an athlete, John. You need to stay at. They have to stay at the best.
Okay, all right.
The best hotels. But either way, you're spending a large portion of your money traveling.
Hey, Colton.
And all that.
Ricky got third place at Dubai in 2017. That's all he did before that.
Hell, I hadn't even heard of SARMs in 2017.
Fun story. If people don't know this, I think it's public information. But
here goes John about to give non-public information.
So no, it can't be. It's just like 8 years ago. In 2017, Matt did Dubai. It was the first time he did, or not. Matt didn't do Dubai. Maybe Matt did Dubai. I don't remember. Somebody was at Dubai. Maybe Ben Smith won, but there were people at Dubai. Ricky was at Dubai, and he looked like a runner, very, very skinny. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then the games happened, and Ben Smith, who I know was there, I'm thinking maybe Ben Smith won. I'm sorry that I can't remember who won Dubai. My mind doesn't work
probably
Dubai very well. Not in 2017. Roman was at regionals back then. But so Ben went to Matt and was like, "Hey, do you think something's off with some of these guys look like a lot bigger?" Like he's trying to like hint at Ricky without like saying anything. And then Matt's like, "Yeah, Ricky's sauce like crazy." like just straight, like no, without a doubt in his mind. Like, yeah, Ricky's on crazy roids right now. Like just
EKG won in 2017.
Where you go? Was Ben Smith there? Maybe it was 2016.
Travis Mayer finished second.
I just know it was Ricky was at Dubai and then the games.
Like he was not on the podium. That. It would have been 16 then if it was after.
Because I know that's where somebody had asked Matt, and Matt was like, "Yeah, he saw stuff like crazy."
I don't ever understand how people can tell, because it's like if you look at like some athletes, they just look huge. Like Rich in 2014, like he wasn't on the juice.
Super old article. Matt Frazier won.
There you go. So then
Ben
it would have been Matt, and then Ben Smith's there. There you go. I didn't make that up out of thin air, Brian.
No.
Okay,
You're good.
So I mean, yeah, because 2016 is in December, right?
Yeah.
And then it would be the game season. Yeah. So Ben went to Matt, is like, bro, this ain't the same guy that we saw in Dubai. And Matt was like, yeah, he's on roids like crazy. But Tyler, if somebody just takes an abnormal jump that you didn't see coming and they look 20 pounds bigger.
Yeah, but you look 20 pounds bigger right now, and I know you're not.
If I looked, no, but from what? I've always been the size. From an individual size.
You've lost weight and you look bigger.
Well, I went to a 10-piece, man. That's what happens. But like if I were 220, and if the next time you saw me, I was 220, and I'm like, I'm just eating more. I decided to take on lifting a little more seriously. Like
if it wasn't, if you said that, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense.
but like that's what it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or like if you were like 215, right? And you just like, I just started trying to take lifting seriously, and I can clean 325 now. And I'm really happy about it. Like, no, like you're probably on, like you're doing stuff because you've tried for 5 years to do that and you couldn't. And now you're 20 pounds bigger and you can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, not just big people. You cannot tell off of that guy's so jacked. He's on steroids. But like, if they've been this guy and now they're like just this huge jump and 10 pounds bigger than what they were the last time you saw them, that's how you can tell. Or if they have snakes in their arms. You know, people can have arm veins all the time. But like if you have like snakes running around there, like Lipson.
That's what I was gonna say. He's clean, dude, and he looks exactly like what you're describing.
Clean, super clean.
Not
I don't know.
Physiological at all.
I just don't. I just don't like to be competing. You have to then basically take that. And people beat Ricky, but it's different. Like you're talking about Frazier beat Ricky. And who was second in 2017? Was it Hofer?
No, Brent.
Brent. Like, yeah, like okay, they beat Ricky. I mean, so
what are you saying?
But I think you get to the Masters, and I think there's such a huge difference that guys are going to start looking like Adele, and it's just going to be massively different. Jonathan Adele.
Pre weight loss or post?
Yeah. I mean, if they're looking like Adele, then they need this. They need the HRT. Just let them have it, man. They're dying.
I don't know. I think the spirit of the Masters is to just let them shine and show what your body can still do at those ages. And to me,
wait till Grundler hears this. He's gonna light you guys up in the chat.
So I agree with what Tyler is saying. Like, if you just asked me, what do I want? When he's like, you don't get to play if that's what you need. Or maybe that was you, Smith.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I agree completely. Like, if it was what I want and I get to choose, I think the sport of CrossFit, if you sign up to do it, then you need to be clean. I don't care what your levels are. I don't care. Then you just don't get to do it that year. Like, that's how I would put it forth. But if you want to open up the gateway at all to you can medically get cleared, you might as well just let everybody do everything.
Well, I think that's the problem. And I mean, we don't know what TRT, HRT is going to be long term. Like, if you're 35 and you want to get on it, like, do we know what it's like in 40 years?
I mean,
we don't know. And
Joe's been on it for like 20 years. Joe Rogan's been on it for like 20 years.
There's negative side effects to TRT, man.
I don't know. But to say that you have to basically you have to take it to be competitive, or your chances of being competitive, being just natural, clean, is almost impossible.
So you don't want to artificially push people into taking it because they feel like compelled. And yeah. I'm more okay with risking that than forcing people to not take it because they they want to be able to compete.
Do you think by doing that though, it would diminish the efficacy of CrossFit?
Not CrossFit. No.
CrossFit, because the efficacy of CrossFit
because now they're going to say the only way that these guys are doing what they're doing is because they're on TRT. It has nothing to do with actual CrossFit.
At that point, I think like if you're somebody like Jason Grubb, and let's say Jason's on TRT, I don't think he is. Like you just say, like, yeah, like some of us do take TRT, some of us don't. It's going to make the ones who don't seem super cool. And it's like, we really care. Well, that is a good point, because if half the league's on it and then you got people my age looking at those
people
guys
who say you're not going, they're not. Nobody believes those people.
Right.
Well, yeah. But also I'm going to be like, I'm just going to get on TRT now because look at them. And that's a negative. That's a negative effect. I don't know. I go rather libertarian on this stuff, and I usually just say let people put what they want in their body.
Yeah, but the reason why I'm anti that, obviously for the individual CrossFit sport, I'm really anti that. But
yeah,
like
that 100%.
Why I'm still anti that. Then it becomes a case because then it's just a case of who can do the most stuff. That's how you get Lance Armstrong.
In our sport,
Lance Armstrong.
In particular,
if nobody took any drugs at all in cycling, Lance Armstrong still would have been the best cyclist of that era, right? But if nobody was taking anything, the thing is, he could not win until he did stuff. All the Italians were winning, and he was like getting left in the dust, like by like a crazy amount, and he had to take drugs.
My point exactly.
And then he was like, I'm going to be Frankenstein. If I'm going to do it, I might as well be Frankenstein's monster. And I'll do every single thing way more than everybody else is. And then that's how you get, and then and then got to blood doping. And then they were the first ones to do that. And then they were, and now it's just like, you can't do cycling unless you are like a professional cycling, unless you're on drugs hard. Like you can't do it. You're not going to be good enough. You cannot do it. And that's what happened to cycling.
Those are like real drugs, not just TRT.
Yeah, but that's a part of it.
You're saying they can take anything they want. Just go for it.
Open yourself to that. Yeah.
I guess I put the limit on it being natural to the body. Equipoise is not natural to the body. And so you can definitely, I don't know what HRT is, like what other HRT there's available, but like, is there a line somewhere in that? We know, or is there an amount that's acceptable? Yes. We know that normal human physiological levels top out around 1200 testosterone. I can't remember what it's measured in, but 1200. If you're at like 2000, like, okay, like you can't, we got to draw the line someplace.
You can't say we have to draw the line someplace, because then,
why not?
Well, what if you draw the line at, let's say you draw the line at 1300, and then somebody they're trying to get to the very max, and they go and they do their test and they're at 1301.
Well, it's like, that's part of the game now, bro. Like, stop, don't go over the game, or don't go like.
Then he'll wait literally 30 minutes and test again, and he'll go
take a shot of whiskey and then try to.
The half-life of that is a lot longer, but okay.
I'm just saying, you have a good testosterone day and you end up popping because you're above whatever arbitrary threshold.
Because you slept well.
Set. Right.
In the long term, from like not a political standpoint, but the long term of health, I think it's going to become more and more common that people are on TRT. And I don't think you're going to be able to fight this fight. I think they're going to be forced to accept TRT.
And I think they can be forced to not compete.
I just don't see it.
You can either you can do what you're doing naturally, or you don't. You're not allowed to compete.
Not when half of people over 40 are on TRT.
Well, then have a different competition. Have the Masters CrossFit Championship, and then have the Masters CrossFit Championship unnatural.
We have enough rival leagues.
They do that in bodybuilding. Let's see which one happens. Let's see which one works.
Yeah, I mean, just have leagues galore, just like Will Moorad has done.
And we're moving.
Look at that
Yeah.
transition.
Yeah. The
Who wasn't
World
bitching at us, telling us to move on?
World Fitness Project is a new rival league. If you watched last week, we called it. There's rival leagues out there being formed as we speak. Will is the first to go public with it. We don't know a whole lot, but Will did share. If you went to Pedro's Coffee Pods and Wads interview with Will back in September, Will may have given some hints. He said, I think the closest we got to making it a real pro sport, that is the CrossFit Games or CrossFit, was kind of like the sanctional model. There's a way to do it better, and I think there's a lot of tour sports, so I guess probably golf and tennis, that do it better already and give their athletes an actual season that has multiple opportunities to gain points to work towards a world championship bid. He also added that this would be good for media coverage. So I'd have to write John a contract so he could do the spin cast and do coverage every weekend. And that he did say that he did stop, though, and say that he doesn't think a new league, at least right now, has to replace the CrossFit Games season.
That's
Which I thought
awful
was
kind
interesting.
of him.
Yeah.
And so basically, he likes 2019 and he wants to go back to 2019 in a little bit different format, but 2019.
Sounds like it, except for the sanctional model was you win, you're in. This sounds like you need to earn points throughout the season. The most people that earn the most points get to go
It's like
to the
NASCAR.
championship. Yeah. So compete as many times or a certain amount of times throughout the season, earn your points, and then show up. What you laughing at over there? It's a good question.
It's $5. We just find him like the NBA.
I'll have to ask my lawyer.
Just take it out of my paycheck. No way.
What do you think, John?
Sorry.
When you saw this
I don't know how I'm going to financially recover from this. I'll be honest.
Maybe you guys can help John cover his $5 penalty. Oh, look, Mason Startup. How are they going to decide which comps are a part of it?
They have to get them to agree.
PFAA decides.
I thought initially it was PFAA, but because I've heard that they're, obviously Brent, it sounds like, is looking into certain things. I've been told that it's not. They're not part of this group.
Yeah, that. I wish we knew more right now. It feels like Will is like I said, he's trying to recreate 2019 to a degree. But the problem in 2019 was there was no off season. Like essentially you're competing for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like, that's what I would want to ask Will is like, hey, dude, do you remember that? And I guess obviously he does. Like, do you think that's good for the athletes to compete that many times? Especially if we do it, this is under the assumption that we compete as we compete right now, which is like 2 to 3 day events, that are essentially semifinal level programming the entire time.
Well, I mean, can you do something with less volume that doesn't beat you up? Do you have to have a 3-day competition? And I think a lot of the sanctionals started getting crazy and almost making their own CrossFit Games at the somewhat degree.
Right.
Like, here's a 15 event competition over 4 days to get your ticket, which was insane. I can't remember who I was talking to. It may have been JR. I think I may have asked like somebody, like, how many competitions can you compete?
How many
year?
Semifinals can you do in a year? Because I think that's really the question. Because is that the level of competition we want to watch?
Get fitter, like 2.
Right, because that's also a
you
piece
could
of
say
it.
this. You could say the same fitness and do like 10.
No, that's a good point.
would you say we drop the like? Do you think that Will is? I would say Will probably is not pro drop the open / quarterfinals, but
No,
maybe for
I
competitive
think you have.
athletes.
Well, what's the point of the Open and quarterfinals if this is how you get to the games?
Right.
The point of the Open, like, yes, it's big community, but this is the starting point of how you get to the games.
CTP in the chat. I am also the pro cocaine route too. Just want that out there. All the athletes, as many athletes as possible. I don't want to force you to do cocaine, but if you're for it, this is part of this chaos argument with Danielle. I'm not going to push the cocaine in your nose, but if you want to take it, I'm here to back you. I'm your wingman.
He did have a good point. The affiliate cup would be much cooler if it was just the affiliate belt. I do agree with that.
I would love a belt. Cups are lame.
I don't think
You
John.
wear a belt.
The affiliate cup?
Yeah,
No.
I did not.
CTP was CTP.
I'm a little
Inspired.
upset. I'm a little upset with the whole training think tank clan.
Why?
Not gonna lie.
Uh-oh.
Because we were at Crash, I saw Max and I saw CTP there, and I was excited to say hi to them. I had not met either of them, and I like their stuff. I watch the Training Think Tank podcast every now and again, when I think it's something interesting. I like listening to Brandon and Mia go back and forth. I watched Mia and Mike do the open battles against each other because me and Mike are real similar in our fitness currently.
You sort of are.
I know. So like
Yeah.
what he does is like a good barometer for like what I'm gonna be. Or, you know what I mean? Like if something blows them up or whatever, and they always do it like the first night it's open. I actually consume a lot more Training Think Tank content than many people would think. I don't talk about it like you do 24/7, Tyler. But I was excited to say hi to these people, and none of them came and talked to me, and it was just.
Did
really
you go talk
really
to them?
defeating.
That's a two-way street there, John.
I tried to. I'm working. There's a difference. There's a difference. I'm working. You know
Well,
what?
they didn't want to talk to you because you were working.
Hey, you know what? Dallin came around the back of the booth to say hi to me. Okay, Kiefer said hi to me. Kyra said hi to me.
Dallin's rude. You can't follow that guy. He's too
We live
rude.
an hour away, man. We lived in Buckville, nowhere. Okay, I'm just trying to make it to the next night.
You didn't show
All
up
right.
in the morning when we were
Was this
hanging
Sunday
out.
morning? Sunday morning when John missed the car ride?
I'm just trying to make it to the next day. All right. One day at a time. I'm just doing my best, putting my best foot forward. All right. And I was just excited to meet them. And then they never said hi. And then they came out with a music video about me and Matthias. That's
That was
all I
great.
got. That's all I get from them. The amount of hype that I gave Lydia, I'm just saying. Okay. I love
I think they
Lydia.
like-
CTP
I love
made a whole
Lydia.
video off of that.
Yeah, I love Lydia, right? And then y'all choose for Matthias to be what you're gonna show. It's just I don't know, man. Just rub me the wrong way. I don't want to go all Rad Taylor on y'all, but it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
I don't think he could.
I don't think I could either. I'm not near as mad as Taylor is. I don't know if I can get as angry as Taylor gets.
No.
I mean, Training Think Tank, you've obviously watched all their content. I think Max is kind of in favor of something like this too, right, John? Like a season structure, competitions throughout.
Yeah, I am not against it. I think it just has to be done the right way. Like I don't, and I don't know what that way is. Like, but I am not against having a whole bunch of competitions. The degree of the competition is a certain amount of points, right? Obviously, Rogue is way more than everything else, right? And then you also have smaller tier competitions like the Fittest Experience or Fittest of the Coast and like stuff like that, and it would grow those types of competitions too. What's the one that nobody cares about? That's the greatest run event of all time, the Norway Classic.
The Oslo Throwdown
The Oslo Throwdown
in South America, or
yeah.
South Africa. Sorry,
Yeah,
It's in South Africa.
no offense, Oslo, but like you get points. Like I have no problem with getting points for these things. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then the top 20 names, or I guess that's how you can do it. The top 20 names get a ticket to the games, and then the other 20 is through the open through the open quarterfinal way, and that way you could sustain that season. If you don't, if you don't do that, I don't know. You're destroying the open, and that's the whole problem. Is how do we maintain that part? Because that's the community, and I think you need that.
Well, I mean, we talked last week. I said that if it's going to be more online, or they even just have 1% go through, that kills the open.
You know, y'all are right. They had no idea that I liked them. They had no idea. I guess it is my fault. I should have. I didn't have a good time to introduce myself. Y'all are right. You're right.
So I guess the question for you then, John, is, all right, you start giving out points for competing in different events. Do those events have to sign up for, like
I don't think,
hey, I'm part of the World Fitness Project? Or is it like, oh, you just have a competition and some top athletes go to Oslo? All right, we'll give you some points. Like, do they have to be tied to it? Or is it? Like,
I think all you would need to do is like, I don't think I'm almost for like a little bit of a, help me with the right word, Tyler. It's not democracy, but like you let the competitions do whatever they want, and then you just assign point totals to them. You don't have a hand in it. I would rather them not have a hand in it. That less government, the better. Than
I think from what perspective? The programming or
anything, the programming, the dates, like anything. It's literally
how wild.
It's literally
how
just
wild would that be if I understand? I get what your point, but say it's like you're doing the weighting system that we used to try to do, like especially back when we were comparing. Essentially, we were taking the worldwide rankings ish, and then saying like how good is this competition? Can you imagine competing at a competition? This would be a bit like Peace Corps, like getting first, and then like you find out that competition as a whole was only worth like 5 points as opposed to 30.
You definitely would need to know ahead of time. Everything would have to be allotted ahead of time. But like, so let's take Crash for instance. Like, basically, and what's the name of it? World Freedom Project.
World Fitness Project.
World Fitness Project. I don't know where I got it.
So you see the logo? It's W.
Yeah, I was trying to figure it out, and I couldn't figure it out.
Will's fun playtime.
You would have to get the World Fitness Project like in bed with CrossFit. Like they have to agree upon this is what's going to happen, and then you literally could just be like take Crash, and then every event that you know of, just assign points to, and then I would just say, hey, JR, this is the system. Crash is allotted 100 points out of the system. Rogue is 750. Crash is 100. Oslo is
and I had thought about something like that when we talked about the season structure, and you look at what golf does. What they used to do is they would assign points based off of like the world rankings that they used.
Mm-hmm.
It was based off of the strength of the field. And so like you would get points based off how strong that field was. And my thought was you always could use some type of worldwide rankings to say how many of the top 20 athletes in this field are ranked top 200, right? And if you have a lot of 200 ranked athletes, you get more points. And then your championship is worth the most, right? Like you can't be as high as that type thing.
I don't.
But that would give you any competition the ability to do it if you could attract enough top quality. The hard part is tracking all that. I think Barkley is the only one that has like any historical data of all these competitions.
Like in theory, that is good. In theory, that is good. I don't like fluctuating points. And then what I think you can change the points year to year. And like the athletes will choose. And like the second like Immatal does the Oslo throwdown, like it's 50 points next year. You know what I mean? And you just go by off the strength of field last year, what it will be this year. But you announce the points ahead of time.
But
and
what if
how are you going to go do that?
What do you mean? How do you do that?
Like, how are you going to go give points to say Oslo versus some no-name competition. Like Jared Graybill has
You
some
go off of
competition he's
strength
putting
of
out.
field, but
And right
from the year
right now it
previous.
doesn't have anybody. Like there's a couple, maybe some semifinal athletes, but nobody
Right.
from the games.
And it shouldn't be worth very much.
But how do they ever get that? If there's no points there, why would a Colton Mertens go compete in that competition? Because there's no points.
I got you, but then people just don't know what anything's worth, and I don't like that.
That's
Well, you
what
would
it's
know
all
going
about.
into it, like you've signed up for it, and now you know that it's a tough competition. You know Rogue's going to have high quality. You know that Wadapalooza is going to have high quality. You know that TFX is okay, right? You know that Crash is going to have a decent amount of top 200 athletes there. You have an idea of what you're going into, right? And if you find a new competition that you really want to go to that has strong athletes, like, hey, let's all go there and let's make this a competition. We'll get more points out of it.
So, what if we were right about
I just
Dubai,
think that's harder to do, dude.
Mr.
It's
Big?
harder to keep track of. And then the 200 ranking, like I think you don't solidify an actual 200 point rank, like 200 athlete world ranking until like 3 years. You know what I mean? Like I just think it's going to be like whatever they come up. They already tried to do a worldwide ranking, and it was the trashiest thing I've ever seen in my life. And if
Well,
that's what we're
that's what
going
you
off
picked.
of as far as strength of schedule, that's what we're going to go off of. I just don't like that, and it doesn't solidify.
I don't think if you use the current worldwide rankings now, I don't think it's good enough to start.
And then you're just good with it, and then 3 years from now it'll be better.
And then you start adding points up as it goes, but you use that as the baseline. Give them points based off of where the top 200 is. Speaking of which, they've not updated it for the games this year.
I mean, I think they're done with it, man.
Tell me you're dropping
Now-
without
now-
telling me you're not dropping it.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead,
what if we
Tyler,
were
sorry.
right about Mr. Big Gotcha? What if we're right about Dubai, and they're going to pay a license to CrossFit, and we're essentially going to go back? What I'm saying is, what if CrossFit essentially does the same thing, but they're doing it within CrossFit's structure that already exists?
Well, yeah, because you paid the $10,000 or whatever it was to be a sanctioned event. That way you can keep track of it.
Yes.
And you get to draw now better athletes because you are a sanctioned event and you know there will be points to it.
And at the end of the day, like if CrossFit did the same thing that Will's trying to do, and I'm not shitting on Will's thing, but I'm saying like all they have to do is make the decision, do the same thing that you're doing, and you're out of business immediately because everybody wants to win the title of fittest on earth.
Do you think everybody wants to compete in the CrossFit space at this point, though?
I think they're lying
I
to
don't know if
themselves.
CrossFit is smart enough to do that, though.
I mean, I don't know how smart you have to be to just say, we're going to win. And
Not
if you
very-
have a better
not very.
idea than
I don't
us,
think that-
we're
I-
just going to steal it. Because you can't
Dude.
patent ideas.
I gotcha. They're not Zuckerberg. They don't see Instagram and be like, I'm just gonna buy it.
Neither am I, dude. I feel like Will could be running uphill on this because it wouldn't change much. It wouldn't take much. Go back to a season that we've already had, and he's out
He's
of
a good
business
runner.
immediately.
But well, then you add in the fact that I know for a fact there's at least one other league structure, whatever you want to call it, season being formulated. There may be even one or two more on top of that. Like, what happens if Will puts out something and then somebody else is like, hey, I got something too.
Then they kill each other.
Not
And
only do they kill each other,
But
they nuke everybody all at the
Right.
same time.
Like,
This was missed.
like, let's
or
say Jeff
glossed
Adler
over.
goes and competes with Will, and Ricky decides that I'm going to go compete with whoever else is going out there, or Noah, or Chandler, or whoever.
and then I think that they're all retarded for not just doing their CrossFit games.
And then a hand like Colton and Saxon and them stay with CrossFit, and they do the CrossFit season. Like, do any three survivor? Do you have to have like one?
CrossFit would.
Pedro made the best point about this today, and they didn't talk about it for a long time, which is if 4 different organizations come up, there's already not that much money in the ecosystem. You're just going to spread that super thin across 4 because everybody's going to choose their party that they're standing with. And you're going to have a 4-year period where essentially a consolidation will happen. And then we'll be back to where we started, and there'll be less money because nobody wants to be involved anymore.
Look, we made up all but a penny for John's tardiness. By Larry Young. Yes, please, God, let somebody else program for a chance.
He's
I'm
not,
not
a
as
big fan.
concerned.
He's not a big fan of Dave.
He didn't, in general, or just the cardio
Oh
game?
no, just the cardio games.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. I wasn't a big fan either.
Uh-oh.
Oh my God. Really?
I don't think Danielle Brannan's showing up to that. even if she said that she would.
Yeah. I mean, I like the idea of a season. I think I've said that before. It's how you implement it, how you can you just use competitions that are out there and use them for points, or do you have to bring them into your
I don't think
little world?
If you have to bring them into your little world, I think it's much harder to work.
Clooney's makes an interesting point considering what we were talking about earlier today, Spin. Because go ahead.
Yeah. Clooney's, there's plenty of money. Just look outside of the micro brands that only focus on CrossFit.
So we like to talk about Barstool, and Barstool is sponsored by Canes. Canes cannot be a sponsor of anything that is associated with CrossFit because of the unhealthiness of Canes. Maybe it could be a sponsor for John Young. John, do you like Canes?
Is that a chicken place?
It's a fried chicken. Yeah.
It's
Chicken
the
tenders.
greatest fried chicken on earth.
I've not had it, but I will sell out in a heartbeat. Can I be the first Canes grid athlete?
Sponsored grid athlete? That would be dope.
By Canes. Sponsored by
The thing is, John, like you could do the Michael Jordan thing and actually be sponsored by McDonald's in CrossFit, and I think it would work.
I think so too, man. I'm like, look, like I'm not joking, y'all. I eat this every day. Look at me. Look at me. This body was made by McDonald's. Like I 100% Tyler, and I'm selling them alive, like hardcore, because I think I'm one of one in that. but 100%. 100%.
Yeah. Like that's the tough part about finding a lot of money. Like Coca-Cola sponsors everybody. You know, a lot of the fast food places do.
Zen sponsorship.
Alcohol
please
companies.
reach out.
Like Budweiser is not going to come in and sponsor CrossFit.
No. Oh, and not they might come in and sponsor CrossFit, but the fans won't.
Yeah, they won't support.
Make it. Yeah, the ROI will not be there for those brands because we're not behind that stuff.
Yeah, I mean the backlash of Monster just because they are owned by Coke.
I honestly think Rogue is the biggest company that you could be sponsored by in the fitness world, and they won't.
I mean, I guarantee they do a lot for just the CrossFit Games, whether it's. I know, the amount of
they're not going to be the main sponsor, though, is what I'm saying. What do you think? What's the biggest company we could have?
I like the car sponsorship would be cool. I think like if Honda or Toyota came in, or Dave's Hot Chicken. Son of a bitch.
Wrong one.
Dave's Hot Chicken.
If like Toyota or Honda came in, I think that actually might work.
Car sponsor, financial.
Yeah, it's going to work as well as it works for the NFL or whatever.
As good as any.
As good as any.
Why don't we just get sponsored by Tesla? That'd be a good one.
Might work. Before we move on, what do you think we're getting ready to see, both from Will and the other 3 organizations or whatever at this point?
I mean, I get a sense that what Will is trying to do is something like we talked about. I feel like he's going to piggyback off of competitions, and then try to get athletes to do that, like to go to these enough of these competitions where he's going to bring in money for a world championship, and basically incentivize those athletes who want to compete in this to go compete in off-season competitions, at least at first, to gain enough points to go whatever he is going to have there, right? And so I think he could build off of Rogue, Wadapalooza, say Dubai, Down Under, and say, look, you get points for that, and now you can also, because you've competed enough of those, you got enough points, you can come to this, and you can make, if he throws big money at it, people would probably do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it gets to be popular enough, then he can then try to take over.
That's a good point
season.
too, because like we were talking about testosterone, and you're saying like essentially it's a race to the top of who can push the most test. With these 4 leagues, it's going to be a race to the top of who can provide the most money for the professional athletes.
Yeah, it's just about money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and how it works. So, more coming soon. I talked to Will this morning. He wasn't ready to share details, but the invite was out to come over.
What about Pat
join the
McAfee?
show?
Would he sponsor the CrossFit Games?
he looks slightly.
They like CrossFit. Pat likes CrossFit.
Does he?
He does. He doesn't do it, but he likes it.
Yeah,
that'd be a good one.
He's got enough money. He would sponsor it, right? Can you imagine them doing their Pat McAfee show on the CrossFit Games?
Just Pat McAfee Championship.
Just one show, but it's just the CrossFit Games, and then them just talking about stuff they have no idea about. Yeah. And it'd be like our table and their table, and we're just going back and forth.
When they get 50,000 live viewers every morning, that'd be good.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
It's a hard barrier to break.
We're almost there.
All right, it's time for some blind rankings. This one, we're looking ahead to the future. Here we go. The blind rankings this week.
You didn't tell us the category.
It is not. It's fully blind this time. We're looking at the future phenom of the sport. We're looking at the young athletes and who has the best chance of becoming something great in the sport. I don't know where.
Number one is obvious. What obvious? How young are we talking?
Has to be college age or younger.
Oh, never mind. Okay. I was thinking like 25 and down.
No.
College, never mind. There's only like a couple I can even think about.
Well, that makes it tough then, I guess. We'll know how much you've been studying the future of the sport on this one.
Okay.
First one. You know this guy, Ty Jenkins.
Yeah, I know Ty. Okay. We just need to think about all of our options, okay? Olivia Kerstetter's in college, Emma Lawson. Those are probably 1 and 2.
Yeah, I think the 1 and 2s are obvious.
Is there anybody else that's not off the top of my mind?
No.
Folo. Is Folo that young?
I think she's pretty young, right?
Who's that?
I think she's college.
Erica Folo.
I think
that means she's not on the list.
Okay, the fact that she doesn't know it means she's not on the list.
Yeah. Ty's an interesting one. It's interesting, like, because we haven't heard a lot about him, and like I haven't heard much out of him in a while.
Trista's probably there.
Yeah.
Would you put Trista above him? I wouldn't. Because Ty, here's my thing. Ty can develop just like Dallin. Like Dallin took a little bit and then he got big.
Ty's pretty tall. And
right, but I'm saying like
seem to take a little longer.
I think Dallin is still in that arc of improving.
And James,
right.
And James took a long time. And then once he popped, he really popped. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Ooh, you're making me more hype on Ty now that we talk about it.
Well, with the men, I get more hyped about the women because the women, like, they either got it or they don't. When they got it, they got it. With the men, you don't know until they pop.
It's a slow burn.
Like the ones that do, the only examples we got is James and Dallin. I mean, maybe Justin, you could say that too, but like Justin was kind of on just a trajectory. You know what I mean?
Paladino.
Like there's so many more examples of men just burning out and just not being good enough. Because it's so much harder to make the transition for men.
I like Ty at 4 just because I think there are some girls who definitely have more potential.
I was
Like-
going to say 3.
3. I don't hate
He's
3.
ahead of Trista for me because I just don't think. I think Trista can make the games, but I don't see a path to her top 10.
Yeah. I'll go with 3. I just think I'm worried because that sort of splits us right down the middle.
That's fine though, and we're talking about CrossFitters, right?
Right.
Okay, we're not wild on earth. Right?
Pickleballers.
We're talking about people who do CrossFit.
Yes, these are all people who have been to, I think maybe all to the teenage CrossFit games at some point.
That's not what I want to hear. People who are currently doing CrossFit.
Yes.
Okay.
Jamie, I'm interested to see if Caden pops up.
I would say no on Caden, but go ahead.
All right, next one.
Caden Hogan.
Reese Littlewood, the winner of the teenage CrossFit games this year. She beat Lucy McGonigal.
Oh,
She's been to semifinals at least this year, maybe even last year.
5.
I'm going to side with John just because I think we still like if we're talking about years it takes you to be at the top within the top 15. I think Reese has a longer timeline on that than Ty. And I think there are some athletes that have a shorter timeline on that.
Reese Littlewood is Kayla Stefano when she beat Haley Adams.
Oh, I know very little about Reese, but like,
You know what I'm saying? Stefano beat Haley Adams straight up. How did those two end up going?
Succeeding at that age for me is like it's a positive attribute, but it means very little and
it means very little. Yeah, winning the team games doesn't do anything for me at all. Not one iota.
I need to see you throw down with the big dogs.
Agreed.
Yeah, not that Lucy's not good, and I think Lucy has a bright future too.
I'm far more impressed with what Trista did in semifinals than winning the team games.
Absolutely, 100%.
I don't think Trista didn't win the team games.
No, I'm saying I'm far more impressed with what Trista did in semifinals than anybody winning the team games.
Got it.
Trice Browning.
Reese Littlewood finished 27th at the North America East semifinal this year.
Cool.
What place? 5th? All right.
Yeah.
Sorry, Reese. Next one. RJ Mestre. He has also won the last several years.
Yeah, he's kind of like Ty for me. Again, the men, you just have no idea until it happens.
So RJ's in the same from the same hometown. He lives in Franklin, right near me.
Tyler,
I've seen him compete, and then I saw him. I hadn't seen him since Wadapalooza the year before, and then I saw him at the open announcement at Proven this year, and like he changed dramatically.
Yeah, no, he has. He's made a big jump for sure.
I am worried as well because you're not throwing these obvious names.
Right. So like I'm thinking he's just gonna use the teen games people, like, and he's not going to use Olivia or even Trista, like
right.
You know what I mean? Or Emma Lawson. And he said college and down. So he should have. Because if you say future phenom, none of these people are as of right now, going to be phenoms. They need to make huge jumps to be phenoms.
Who has the most potential to become the future
phenom? It says future phenom. This is a misleading.
You're ranking who could be the most likely to be a future phenom.
And Olivia and Emma Lawson are the most likely future phenoms.
I disagree with that.
You think some of these people are better than those two?
I think some don't have a future.
I'm going to say 4.
No. Okay, hear me out, Tyler.
You think we should go higher because you're worried?
I do. Because he's just going to use teen games people.
Then why? Okay,
he's not going to use actually good people. He's going to use people that win the games, not actually good people.
So
you teens,
we're going to clip this,
you little boys and little girls,
and in 5 years we'll see who's there.
Beat somebody that matters. I don't care that you can win.
against somebody else who's 17 or 16. I do not care at all. It does nothing for me. Nothing. Cool. You want a kids competition, right? Go to a competition where there are grown men, RJ. All right, I want you to look BKG in the eyes and then just bam. Okay, that's what I want. And if you do that to somebody like that, I will have respect for you. The teen games doesn't do nothing for me until you beat somebody legit. And that's how I feel about all of them. All of them. And it's much easier for the girls we've seen. It's much easier for the girls we've seen than do that. Absolutely, Margaret. Absolutely. It took an hour and 15 minutes. But I don't care. And Spin is going to get caught up in how good you look against people your age, and he's going to think you guys are going to be good. 97% of y'all doesn't matter what you do, and you're not going to be good. 97. And then there's 3% of y'all that actually come through and are somebody. And it's impossible to say who that is unless you're in Haley Adams or a Mal O'Brien or an Emma Carey, right? And they were kind of obvious, and you're not obvious. You're just beating people your age. In saying that, RJ, I hope nothing but the best. I hope you end up being really, really good. Okay, because Dallin was the same way.
Being said, number one.
Dallin was the same way. Dallin was the same way. In saying that, I would say number 2.
Tyler, do you agree?
I'll go with 2. John's argument's stronger than mine at this point.
All right. Next one. Lydia Fish.
Number 1.
And honestly, that rant was more at Spin than these children. I don't know. I ended up. I don't know. It got me hot. But that was
too bad. That's not going to make it in the clip.
No,
it was more about Spin than these children. Yeah, Lydia is my number 1. I love Lydia. I'm pretty sure I said last year at Crash that if people didn't know who Lydia Fish was, like if that girl just gets 20 pounds stronger, you're going to know who she is. And
we know who she is now.
Yeah. I mean, I still don't think people know like what's coming. Like, and if she never gets stronger, it will never come. But if she does, she's going to be the next person people start talking about for real. Like if she got into the games, I think she would do the exact, her pacing. You cannot teach that. It's so beautiful. Yeah, I put Lydia at number 1.
Number 1.
I'm interested to see what kind of corner we backed ourselves into.
The criteria was you had to be college age or younger and never make it to the elite CrossFit games.
Oh, well, you didn't say that.
I couldn't give it away.
But that's the criteria.
That's my criteria of who I picked because there are more than 5 people. So the last one, Lucy McGonigal.
I'm fine with this.
I'd put her at 3, but
yeah.
I don't hate it.
I agree, Tyler. I would put her at 3 for sure. I agree, but I don't mind this at all.
Lucy finished. Where did she finish at the semifinal? 19th in Europe.
Nice.
And you know what's funny is like I don't hold it against the men, but I do hold it against the women. That like if you're winning, like if you're the best girl, right, in the team games, but like you're just there at semifinals, and like you have an up and down weekend, but you're just kind of there. Then I don't think it's going to happen for you. Yeah, you can get better. But as far as like being a phenom and like being like top 10 at the games, like what you're trying to tell, what we're trying to say, like I think you would have already been that good. That's shown to be the truth as our sport has progressed, right? The women develop so much sooner than the men. And if you can continue to get better, Trista Smith did, right? And I think she'll only get better. I think she'll make the games next year. But being top 10 at the games is a whole nother beast.
Don't you think, though, that, I mean, like Alexis Raptis did not follow the arc of going straight from teen to elite?
No.
Did she do the teen games?
Yeah.
Yeah. She was one of the top, and then she went to semifinals. I remember watching her at regionals back in the Central East or whatever they call it, Central. She was good, but nothing outstanding, and kind of disappeared for a little bit and then came back stronger.
Yep.
More of the Dallin Pepper arc than it was Mal O'Brien or Emma Lawson. I think we've gotten spoiled by seeing
Phenoms out the gate.
right out of the gate where they're still teenagers, from a Kerstetter to Emma, Mao. Like, I don't think that's the norm. And
Look at all all the same ones you're talking about are all the same ones who've also left.
right.
And you might have a point. Like, obviously there are exceptions to the rule, but we've just seen if you're dominant as a female, it happens much younger than when you're than the guys. And so, like, if you're not that, like, I'm a little bit biased towards you're not going to be that, right? Alexis Raptis took a whole year. Like, what did Alexis Raptis get her rookie year at the games?
Couldn't even tell you.
Let's go. Let's go check that out.
23rd. The actual CrossFit Games.
All right. So regionals 2017. That's when I remember seeing her in Nashville. And then she hit the games in 2022. She finished 10th.
Yeah, her first year at the games.
But look at that.
10th
She went in 2017 was her first regional appearance, semifinal appearance. And it took her till 2022. So nothing in 18. Nothing in 18 she went team, but like 19 couldn't do it. 2020 was obviously weird.
So there's like 4 years of a gap year. There's there's a 4-year gap. Yeah, I 100% think that can happen. But what I'm saying is I don't think that's the
no, that's not what we've seen by some of the top.
I don't think that's likely that we can predict that's what's going to happen. I think there's less Alexis Raptis out of there than there is Emma Lawson's.
I don't think we have enough history to say that.
We've got like 6 Emma Lawsons, and can you name me another Alexis Raptis?
No, she's the only one.
I don't, not offhand. I can't.
I think we did good. I think we ranked them well.
Yeah, I'm not mad at the list.
That was probably the hardest one we've done in a long time.
It was. I mean, just we didn't know it was coming.
No.
What about
that'll make it on Comfit tomorrow.
And maybe I shouldn't be so hard on the kids, but as somebody who like just looks at the best of the best, or is trying to rank people or predict the future.
Are you saying you have a bias?
I'm not going to pick you for something unless like you've 100% convinced me that you're going to be somebody. And then people can be like, oh, you don't want to predict the future. I'm the very first person that said Hatfield was going to be anything. If Lydia Fish ends up being anything, I said it a year too early. Okay. There are people that I believe in, and I will put my neck out for those people way ahead of time. But those are very few people.
Give me a chance at humility and I spit it back in your face.
I'm just saying.
All right. And finally, Sanction This. There was a Mexican athlete, Cornejo. I can't remember her first name at the moment.
Cornelius
Cornejo. I don't think that sounds right.
Zane.
Pull it up.
John doesn't know how.
I don't know. I'm not able to do it. You should give me access.
Yes, you do.
No, I can't. I don't have access.
John. Carla Cornejo. She was on the CrossFit Complex WADX with Sasha Nieves, who is also pregnant. Everybody's getting pregnant these days. Carla tested positive, got her 4-year sanction, and then she went out to this FSC competition in Mexico, the largest team competition in Mexico, with Luis Oscar Mora and Ricardo Garcia. Don't know who he is. And they beat everybody, including a team, the Gringo team. They renamed it Team USA for on the leaderboard. But Alex Smith, Michelle Bazinet, and Nick Andre.
Oh man, I didn't know Michelle was part of this.
She was on Team USA there. They took third place. And so, of course, I wrote the story, but put it out that, hey, she's competing while sanctioned. I did the same thing for Ivan Kukartsev when he did that, when he got his sanction and he went and competed like the next week in Russia. And everybody's like, oh, like you get everything. You get the, how could he do this? Like, that's just whatever. And then you get all the Russians that came to their defense and said, that's what we Russians do. We don't care. We all do. And it's almost like identical to
Protect
this,
the inject.
where I wouldn't say it's all based off of your nationality, but there were definitely a lot of people who were not happy with me reporting this, saying she can do what she wants. The competition can do what they want, which I said in the article and on the Instagram post. Like, it's up to the organizer. It's not a CrossFit competition. And apparently what I found later is that she asked to compete and then provided a drug test before competing, and it came back clean.
Don't worry, guys. I got it.
I did cheat, but I'm not anymore.
I prove it.
I got it.
Prove it. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm way ahead of you.
Yeah.
I'll even save you the cost. Don't even worry about it.
Give me a cup. Somebody give me a cup.
So, like the earlier question, if you are sanctioned by CrossFit and you're an organizer, do you allow somebody to compete in your competition knowing that they are serving a sanction for this? Tyler?
Well, the being CrossFit affiliated or whatever means very little to me at this point. Having that on your thing, the crux of the matter comes down to this Janelle Stites, which later became, she had a different name, but anyway, Janelle Stites. When I was at the Heart of America, she was competing there and she was still in her sanction. And like, as the competition went through the weekend, more and more people found out that Janelle had popped and that she was playing, and people were upset about it. And I was like, guys, this is Heart of America. This is not the CrossFit Games. It's not changing anybody's lives. We're going to win $3,000 at max. She still loves CrossFit and she still wants to compete. I really don't care. But you could also say, well, Tyler, you said that the masters could all do drugs too. Yes, that's fine too. I just I don't know. Do we want to bury everybody every chance we get for making a mistake once or doing it once? It's
not a mistake.
It's not a mistake. That's fine.
Tyler was Ronnie Coleman in another life, Brian.
Lightweight, baby.
I don't care. I don't know.
I have a very strong opinion on this.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah.
John?
I think if you're not affiliated by a CrossFit competition, it does not matter whatsoever.
Oh,
it is illegal to do in CrossFit. If you are banned from CrossFit competition. If it doesn't have CrossFit on it, I don't care.
So if
the competition doesn't care, why would I care?
So if somebody is in Olympic weightlifting, tests positive, and then comes over to CrossFit, are you okay with it?
Yeah.
If it's a local level competition or even
this is a Olympic weightlifter.
No, I'm
talking
gone
about
to the Olympics.
CrossFit.
They tested positive, and now they go into the Open and they start competing in North America East.
I gotcha.
Klokov came over.
I gotcha.
And
So
they
this is a
actually
bad
have
example.
ability.
I would not care because there's no shot that they're going to make it anyway.
Jared Enderton, not Olympic level athlete, but national level. Let's say him back in 16, 17 when he made the games. Let's say he had tested positive the year before.
2018.
He tested positive in 2017 U.S. Nationals. He did not, but let's say he did.
Okay.
And now he comes in 2018 and he makes it to the games. Are you okay with that, John?
No.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be okay with that.
Why?
Because you're banned from doing a competition. And
it's not even CrossFit.
but it's illegal to do in CrossFit. If it's illegal to do in the sport that you're competing in, and you choose another sport to compete in that it's also illegal in, that's not no.
They're still reaping the benefits of doing those drugs in that time period.
But if it's also illegal to do, right? Yes, Tyler. But it's also illegal to do in that sport that you're banned in.
Right.
No, I think anything that it is illegal to, like, so say like you do GW Endurball, and you take up professional cycling, and then now that's what you want to do, and you make the freaking Tour de France, where it's also illegal to do that. Like, no, you should not be allowed to do. If you can't sign up for another sport that you're already banned from doing a legal substance, and that sport's also illegal. But what I'm saying is, if you get banned in CrossFit and then you want to do a fitness competition and it doesn't have CrossFit on the name and they don't care, I don't think there's any problem with that.
What if they go to TFX and TFX decides they
I don't
get
care.
money and they fail a drug test at TFX? Can they do the CrossFit
TFX
games?
ain't drug testing.
I said if they do.
If
Wadapalooza.
Okay. They're
Or Rogue.
already
Or
banned.
Rogue.
They're
Or
already
Rogue.
banned. And then they go to Wadapalooza.
No,
and
I'm saying if they go to Rogue, they drug test because Rogue does drug test,
uh-huh.
and then they go and they test positive in Aberdeen, Scotland next month.
And then
Can they compete in 2025?
I would not like it, but I don't know if there's a rule saying they can't.
Like, I'm trying to figure out what the difference is. Like,
it works in one direction, not the other. So, like, if you and it has to do with the amount of money. If you were doing drugs at Wadapalooza, and like Wadapalooza is bad, because they pay out so much, but TFX is still bad because they pay out quite a bit too. But if you do it at a competition where they're not paying out that much, it's Heart of America, you get $3,000. To me, that's not really any consequence. This was like fun for everyone, but not really a sport. But if CrossFit finds out that you tested positive at that event, yeah, you can't play in the CrossFit games, because I mean, the half-life on these drugs lasts much longer, and the benefits of the drugs last way longer than just Heart of America.
If you pop at a CrossFit competition, and then CrossFit's like, you can't play now because you popped at a CrossFit competition.
But Jared Enderton did the same thing. He got the benefits of it. We're just going to drag him through the mud.
Okay, did Jared Enderton do?
No, he did not.
Okay,
but he's the only one I know that came from Olympic weightlifting.
John's getting really sidetracked.
He's the only one I know
really
that has
bad for
gone from
Jared.
Olympic.
Like, you're gonna really make him out bad right now.
I love Jared Enderton. He's the only one I know that has gone from a high level Olympic weightlifter to actually being something. Like,
to me,
like Jared Fleming tried and he had no chance at it. Right. Like,
right.
A lot of guys have tried. Our boy Plesnoy,
your boy
couldn't even sniff semifinals.
So you brought him up and I laughed at your face. Okay, like
it was hopeful. It was hopeful.
We really needed that, John. We really needed Plesnoy to make it.
But
I could do cool tricks too with weights.
Doesn't matter.
You got to be fit to do stuff.
Yeah, I get it. But you're saying that Tyler's saying that somebody at TFX,
Anderson, meet me out in the grid.
Somebody at TFX tests positive in February, late January, and he gets the benefit of it, so he can't compete in 2025. But John's saying if somebody goes to the American Open in 2020 in December of that year, test positive because it's a different sport, they can compete. Even though now Tyler's saying they have the same benefits.
It's still illegal in that sport.
To me, I don't care about the legality of that sport or not. It's illegal in CrossFit. You can play in all these other leagues and not get in trouble. It doesn't matter from league to league. You did a drug that CrossFit knows that you did. You can't play in the CrossFit season because you broke their rules.
I completely agree.
Whose rules?
CrossFit.
Their season. Whose season? TFX?
CrossFit's.
That's not a season.
I don't care. Like what the TFX can say, we don't really care if you do Enduraball, but you can't do GW 501, 516. You do Enduraball, they're fine, good. But then like CrossFit's like, no, all that shit's illegal. You can't play in our thing, and we know you tested positive for it. If CrossFit knows you tested positive for it, that's all that matters. I don't care what league it was in.
And in that scenario, then like I think the right thing would be a 2-year ban from the CrossFit thing. Because they didn't get popped in a CrossFit competition, right? Affiliated CrossFit competition, which would be a 4-year ban. But they know you got popped.
The
Well,
ban has nothing to do with the competition. It's the substance. If you test positive for the substance, you get a 4-year ban.
no matter what.
John's saying
Period.
different. John's saying
I'm
different
not saying
sport.
different.
You said
Why do you
different
keep-
sport.
No, I'm saying if you get popped and then you go to a sport that it's not, they don't care. It doesn't matter. Like if they get that's what I'm saying. If you get popped in the CrossFit season, what you think I'm saying the reverse. If they get popped in the CrossFit season, say the games.
By CrossFit, yes.
Say the games. Okay. We'll use Ricky because he got popped. And in 2018, Ricky wanted to do the fittest experience. I have no problem with it.
Same.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. I'm asking
If it doesn't break TFX's rules.
Right. If TFX doesn't, like, we don't care.
You're the organizer of TFX, so you get to make that decision.
Right,
What I'm
and-
saying is, why doesn't it work the other way?
Because it's illegal in CrossFit. It's
I-
against
I-
CrossFit Games' rules.
Right.
It's
So
not
it-
against TFX's rules.
I'm so confused on where you're lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're making this weird.
No, you're saying, okay, if I test positive at the games, I can go to TFX because you're the organizer of TFX and
we
you
don't
say
care.
it's cool.
Yeah.
I
But
don't
yeah,
care.
it's because we don't care.
But if you're saying
CrossFit
you
cares.
okay, so but then John, you also said if you change sports, it doesn't matter. If I come
If
from
it's not
cycling,
illegal, it's not illegal for that sport, then
If it's
no,
in-
it doesn't matter.
right? My example was Olympic weightlifting. They test positive, they're banned.
Yes.
And
Can
if
they
you wanted to
compete
do
in CrossFit?
TFX, then you're fine. If you wanted to do
You-
CrossFit Games, no, you're not fine. I think I just
Oh,
said something
wait
and
a
you got
minute.
tripped up and we crossed wires.
think
and
it's
you're trying to hang on
because-
that wire.
I think it's because I said, like, I don't think at a low level competition that they should test or care. It's not, if you do care, that's fine. I'm just saying I don't think you should.
I think I have a
care.
solution for the Pam situation here. If you've tested positive in any circumstance, anywhere, Spin, and you should not be allowed to do the CrossFit season because it is illegal in CrossFit.
Yes.
Okay.
If you do a fitness competition, if you tested positive anywhere, even the worst one, like Ricky at the games, right? 4-year
Yeah.
ban, it's hard. Everybody hates you. We're putting syringes in your comments. If you can want to do a fitness competition, there is no problem.
Because it's not important.
Because
If
they
the
don't
organizer
care.
does not care. I don't think.
Why
there's
does
a
it but should the organizer care?
No. Depending on
That's on the
if
organizer.
Wadapalooza.
They can care if they
if-
want to care.
Well, what if so Ricky pops and Wadapalooza is like, we're good with it. We don't care. That's on them.
Yeah, it's
I-
on Wadapalooza.
I think at the level of that money, they should care.
They should.
But
Yeah. But
depending
you're not,
on the level of competition, it might not matter.
I agree. And it's on that organizer. Like, I feel like Rogue would care. But like if they don't, it's their choice.
Yeah.
Now, if it says CrossFit in front of it, you can't.
So there's some level of threshold of the size of the competition, the prize money at
It-
some
there is
level.
there is no threshold.
care about.
It's on the owner.
That I care about, yes. And I can't define what that is. You know, if you start getting into the 10K range, like Crash, like maybe
it's a gut thing.
If
it
Phil
is a
Toon,
little
if
bit of
Phil
a gut
Toon
thing.
shows up to Crash next year,
I'd say
you're
bring
cool with
on.
it, Tyler?
No,
I would say run it for
absolutely
sure.
cool with it. If JR does not care, I'm absolutely cool with it.
I would say
But if you're
Phil
JR,
Toon
should you be
can't run
cool with
400
it?
meters without walking right now.
Should you
I-
be cool with it?
what I've always wanted to have happen.
So now
is-
Colton comes over there. Austin comes over there. They're
Uh-huh.
playing clean because they want to compete in the CrossFit Games season, and now they go up against these monsters.
and JR knows
if you
that
can't
Phil,
beat Phil Toon right now, you're in
popped.
trouble.
we're operating under the assumption that JR knows that Phil popped. He's aware.
Right.
So in that circumstance, I would say let Phil play, but you're telling him you're not sorry, dude. You're not going to win the money. Like we're going to give the money that if you get third, we're giving money to fourth.
Ooh,
We're not going to
I don't agree with that.
because I think
I think
dude,
you
he-
either choose to let him play or not let him play.
Phil would add so much value, and it would be interesting to watch, which is like
You're
part
basically
of the
just
Crash
he's
thing.
an exhibition. Then he's not in the
He's-
competition.
He's not doing.
He's not
it.
in the
He's
competition.
No,
I've always
I'm not
wanted
doing that at all. I'm not doing that.
somebody if you're good enough to get to the games and you take steroids, I've always personally, I would have loved to have done this if I had the ability, is go to the games. If you're fucking roided out of your brains, get third and be like, thank you, everybody. I'm going to give the money to the other guy. I just wanted to see what my body was capable of. But now I know I was on
if you
steroids.
want to buy some EPO and send it my way, Tyler. Unfortunately, I don't think Enduroball is good enough to get me to the games. I think I need EPO, but if you want to send it my way, we'll do this experiment.
You need that heavy.
Andrew Reese. Spin's trying to point out a double standard that doesn't exist.
I think I understand where you got tripped up. We made it complicated in that we have a standard that can't be set because it's just a by feel thing.
Right. You're saying
and
TFX can do it. Then I say Crash
be.
Crucible, and you're like, oh, well,
No,
he can be in lane 7 and hang out. And let's see where he's at.
That's Tyler. I think it's on the organizer. If they want to let them, they can. And if they can, they are.
Can you imagine us having an exterior lane to the rest of the lanes and be like, and what's Phil doing? And
Dude, I wouldn't mind just put people like that with the games, just putting a regular person out there. I think it'd be awesome. For every event though, obviously there's some events they probably just can't do it.
Yeah,
right. The Bill Murray spot.
Yeah.
If there was some guy that was actually good that had been busted, if some guy was actually busted, that's good. And then they came to Crash Crucible. You think that Colton would be happy with that? Or Taylor?
I don't think they would care.
If they knew that
if they're not going to win their prize money, they show up and it's like,
you think they're going to get beat by that guy?
I'm saying that some guy that's good. I'm not saying it's Phil Toon. I'm saying that there's some top athlete that tests positive that can beat them.
The only top guy that could beat them is Ricky.
Okay. Ricky got busted and he shows up to Crash Crucible. And now you don't win your first prize. Sorry.
I think they would be. I think they would be upset. I think JR would just not allow him. Then, if it's a guy that could beat them, I think JR would just say no.
So now it's the size of the competition and the ability of the athlete.
No, I think it's just the ability of the athlete. You put the parameters on the size of the competition. I think it's just the. I think it's the organizer's discretion, no matter what the circumstance. If you don't have CrossFit on your name, it is the organizer's discretion. Whatever he or she wants. Does not matter how big the competition is. It doesn't matter.
So Wadapalooza, somebody tests and goes and gets second at Wadapalooza, and you're like, we're good with it.
If they are good with it, then they are good with it. It's their choice. You want to say, should they? I mean, now we're arguing moralities. And if I'm the organizer,
morality.
If I'm the organizer of Wadapalooza, or if I'm the organizer of Wadapalooza, I'm probably just saying no.
Yeah.
If I'm the organizer of the fittest experience, it absolutely has to do with how good you are.
To me, it has to do
because I think if it's Ricky and he can win it and he can beat everybody,
he could win Wadapalooza, and it's a no.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm saying no. Well,
I'm not setting that standard. Like,
what if some dude that comes to the qualifier who
let him
barely makes it, he's going to finish 39th.
Yeah, let him play.
You let him play at Wadapalooza?
Yeah. Well, shit, dude. A lot of these people,
and he comes and wins because he's now extra roided out since the qualifier.
Roids aren't magic.
No, they're not. But I understand. I'm not going to put a moving standard on it like that. I'm either going to make a hard rule of like you can play and you're not going to win the money, or you can't play at all, or you can play.
You're either going to play or you're not going to play, and I think that's up to the organizer. I think most of the time I would probably just say no, but depending on how big my competition is, I don't think it like there's like Tyler said with if it's your 3,000th first place prize and it's just some nobody, I don't care. I just don't. And then if the other competitors are mad about it, then that's a lesson learned, and I'll say no from now on. I don't think they would be. I think if Phil Toon was at Crash and Colton can't beat Phil Toon, that's Colton's fault. 100%. And I think he would say so too. And here's the thing. I think Colton and Taylor and even Chris would be like, they might not like Phil. They might be like, why are you here? You know what I mean? Like, he might be the heel of the competition. And Taylor might be mad because he can't play heel because Phil's there.
Phil,
Yeah.
You have an invite to Crash Crucible next year. Please reach out to J.R. Howell at
He don't want it,
CrossFitCrash.com.
bro. Phil's 240 right now.
I'd
But
love
what
to
a-
see it.
But
Adele, show up, win the Masters.
what I'm like, I don't
Adele.
think I think like, and I don't want to speak for him, but I think Colton would be like, invite whoever you want, bro. I'm
think
gonna
he would
win
too.
this. And I don't think very many people could have beaten Colton at this year's Crash. Period. In the
Maybe.
world.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Cole not to speak for himself. I think Taylor would be pissed if
Taylor might be pissed, but Taylor's not a games athlete. And neither is Phil.
I just don't know where you guys draw the line. That's where I was trying to get to because
I mean, you know where I draw the line, but John's got a moving line.
it's a $3,000 prize purse apparently. For
I
Taylor.
think
it's somewhere
I
around
would say
$8,000.
yes, I have a moving line, but like I would say like 85% of the time the answer is just no.
It's
Is
worth
that
the
is that
it's
fair?
worth the propaganda. It'd be worth.
You really gotta
I hear what
you
you
really
say.
gotta fine line that 15%. Like you gotta thread the needle. And at that point, I'm just giving you props for threading the needle.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this Carla Cornejo she qualified for the
Cornelius.
game, so she's good.
Like Pinheiro, I'm never letting her do any competition ever.
Even though she's never tested positive.
She's never.
She's
tested positive,
never
no.
tested positive, and I would say no.
All right.
It's a constant moving line with John.
Just saying.
Yeah, you don't know where he stands.
You look a little funnier,
all right.
John. You're not
It's-
going.
It's just like the mountain, man. It's ever evolving.
All right. Well, I guess I understand. I guess we'll have to figure out whenever that happens. And John's an organizer of
I
a,
feel like you
of
don't
a
understand
competition.
anything. I wouldn't want to be. That's not my place. That's not my role. I know what I'm
I don't
good
feel
at.
like you
and I know-
understand anything.
and I know what I'm bad at. And like that's not something I wish to do at all.
Well, we
right.
could ask JR, see what he would do.
We should have
Send him. Send tune in.
All right.
send the tune.
If you didn't notice, if you check out my stories on Instagram, 9 events, Rogue Invitational, book it.
And one event has a pegboard.
And one event has a pegboard. So if you want to get into an Instagram story argument with me tomorrow, let me know. Just tag me. We can go at it. Just let me know. Otherwise, we'll see you next week. Hopefully we'll have some information on the Rogue Invitational when it comes to actual events.
Yeah.
Um,
Hopefully.
Prediction show next week.
and we'll do some prediction shows. We won't just make random predictions. We will wait till the events are out and we will go through that. So next Wednesday, we will see you then.
Big gotcha. Out.
No, it was definitely.
You know, it's just like this big toss up and we just like there's no structure and it's just like this kind of crazy show half the time, which makes it a little interesting and makes it fun, sure.
Yeah, a little bit. I think I was a little crazy. So we'll do better next time.